When a bride discovered the wrong ranch, a little girl's heartwarming whisper changed everything. Sarah could hardly catch her breath as she zipped through the scenic roads of suburban Dallas, excitement bubbling in her chest. She was just days away from marrying the love of her life, Jake, and every thought raced with visions of white lace, fresh flowers, and a future filled with dreams. Yet, as fate would have it, the universe had other plans in store. In her haste to finalize wedding details, she turned onto a sprawling driveway, expecting the lush lawns of the family ranch she had visited many times. Instead, she found herself face to face with an unfamiliar property, a dark cloud of despair hanging over it like a stormy sky. As she stepped out of the car, the warm Texas sun painted everything in gold, but she was immediately struck by the sight before her. A little girl with dirt-smudged cheeks and hopeful, big eyes peeked out from behind the barn. That was Lily, a shy yet fearless spirit, with dreams that seemed as distant as a starry night. Sarah felt a pang of guilt tearing at her heart. She couldn't help but notice the rattle in the air, the silence that echoed deep distress within the family. The laughter she had hoped to encounter was replaced with heavy conversations filled with worry, voices strained under the weight of debts that loomed like a dark cloud. The innocent joy that colored Sarah's wedding dreams felt like an apparition against the backdrop of Lily's family struggles. Emotions roiled within her, a storm of indignation and compassion. She could almost hear the heavy whispers of the townsfolk, their disappointment and judgment swirling like dust in the summer winds. It was heartbreaking to see, and at that moment, as she caught the look of loneliness in Lily's eyes, Sarah felt the world around her shift. In a quiet moment together on the rusty swing set, the fading sunlight cast an enchanting glow, and Lily's tender voice broke the silence. "I just want to save our home," she whispered, each word like a heavy stone, weighed down by the burdens of burdened shoulders. Those innocent words ignited an unexpected flame within Sarah, stirring something she hadn't anticipated. Her wedding plans, once a source of joy, suddenly felt trivial next to the profound reality facing this little girl. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned into a flurry of chaos as the news of financial struggles spread like wildfire through the community. Sarah found herself unexpectedly drawn to the rhythmic heartbeats of despair echoing around her. Her thoughts juggled visions of wedding bliss and the reality that swirled darkly around Lily's family. She couldn't ignore that palpable sense of responsibility. That connection with Lily sparked a flicker of determination, and as she rallied the townspeople to join her in uniting against the injustices surrounding them, a fierce urgency began to brew. As she stood in front of her friends and neighbors, she could almost hear the echoes of Lily's dreams urging her on. The pressure mounted, leaving Sarah standing at a crossroads: choose the elegant day she had planned or speak for those who felt invisible. The choice loomed heavy, like a bittersweet burden, with her heart torn between celebration and duty. The community awaited her decision, and Sarah realized that the path she chose would not only shape her wedding day but could alter countless lives woven into the fabric of their shared struggle. What would she do next? The sun set on the horizon, casting long shadows over the ranch. Sarah's heart thudded in her chest as she looked back toward her car. Every fiber in her being screamed for her to run back, to cling to the dreams she'd envisioned for her wedding. But the thought of Lily's sorrowful eyes anchored her feet firmly to the ground. Gathering her resolve, she stepped forward, eyes focused on the faces before her, a mix of worry and hope reflected back at her. The tight-knit community had come together, all eager to help Lily but unsure how to turn their intentions into actions. Sarah felt a stirring inside. This was a call to unify, to foster change. The elegant wedding she'd planned began to seem like not just a day of celebration but a pivotal moment for something greater. Her voice rippled through the air. "We can help. If we come together, we can raise funds, host events, anything to keep Lily's family in their home. Gasps of surprise and skepticism intermingled. A few murmurs cut through the air as neighbors exchanged cautious glances. "But Sarah, you have your wedding to think about," one of her close friends, Rebecca, ventured, visibly confused. "I know," Sarah exclaimed, her heart racing. "But this is bigger than just one day. We can create something beautiful from this struggle. A wedding can wait, but a home the love wrapped up in that can't." A flicker of inspiration ignited in the eyes of a few gathered. They started sharing thoughts, potential ideas, brainstorming as if the very act of discussion infused life into their shared purpose. Bake sales, a talent show, yard work for people in need, each suggestion built excitement. The isolation of despair began to dissolve, revealed instead by the sunlight of community spirit. Lily, watching from the sidelines, took a cautious step forward. "Really? You'll help?" Her voice was small, but filled with a sense of wonder. "Yes, Lily, we will," shouted one woman, her enthusiasm infectious. Slowly, smiles crept across the crowd. The swirl of hope replaced doubt, becoming a collective heartbeat sinking them together. As they formed a planning committee, Sarah found herself moving through ideas, knitting together the community while pushing aside her own thoughts about celebration and joy. Tears pricked her eyelids as she realized what was unfolding. In sacrificing her own plans, she found clarity she craved, meaning more than mere brightness. Every little interaction with her neighbors revived the sense of togetherness she longed to re-establish. But the need wasn't just about saving a house, it was about forging bonds, rekindling love within the community, a powerful mission that stirred the deepest corners of her heart. Yet, as discussions continued late into the evening, Sarah's phone buzzed persistently in her pocket. It was Jake, wondering where she was and why she hadn't replied. Anxiety clawed at her. Their wedding date loomed, yet here she was caught up in plans that might change everything. Could she really shift the focus from her dream day to saving a home? The warmth of the community encircled her, but a cold wave of doubt washed over her. Tears spilled over as she hesitated, looking at each of the hopeful faces around her and then back at the buzzing phone, alarmingly consistent. Who would she have to let down? How would Jake react? With a trembling heart, Sarah took a deep breath and pressed her thumb on the screen, hesitating for just a moment. Should she tell him what was unfolding? Or keep this moment separate, afraid he wouldn't understand? The decision weighed heavily on her heart, but as she gazed back at Lily, she knew she had to choose. What would she say when Jake came to find her? And most importantly, could she convince him to support this unexpected mission that had become so important to her? The room filled with a gentle hum of energy as Sarah stood at the center, phone in hand, uncertainty casting a shadow across her. The excitement of community action buzzed in the air, but her heart was tethered to Jake and the wedding that felt like a storm cloud, looming ever closer. "Sarah?" A soft voice interrupted her thoughts. Lily stepped forward, determination etched on her young face. "You really want to help us?" "More than anything," Sarah replied, the sincerity in her voice threading connections tightly to Lily's hopeful gaze. They shared a brief moment that spoke volumes, two souls entwined in a cause that transcended their personal battles. The buzz of the gathering momentarily faded as they exchanged a silent vow of solidarity among the chaos of uncertain futures. As the planning meeting progressed, different ideas cascaded like rain. Bake sales had evolved into a community-wide barbecue, a local band offering to play for free, and friendly neighbors volunteering time. Excitement spread, igniting faces and lifting spirits. Yet, as laughter danced in the air, Sarah's phone buzzed again, a jarring reminder of the other life waiting for her. She glanced at the screen. Jake. The name shone brightly, impatiently demanding her attention. "Just text him back," Rebecca encouraged, noticing Sarah's struggle. "It's just a message." But it felt more than that. Secrets swirled, growing heavy in her chest. What if Jake couldn't understand? What if he saw this as a betrayal of their shared dream? "Okay," Sarah finally whispered, summoning her resolve. "I'll tell him, but I need to do this first." With her mind racing, Sarah took a breath and turned back to Lily, who was mid-laughter, talking to another volunteer about which desserts to bake. That innocent joy tugged at her heart. "Why don't we share some of this light with others?" She spoke up. "What if we invited families from all over town? Let us make this a day for everyone to come together, music, food, games." Lily's eyes widened, sparkling like the sun as she clapped her hands. "Yes. A big party." "Exactly." Sarah's excitement buoyed once more, washing away the whispers of doubt. Together, they planned how they could involve not just their town, but perhaps neighboring communities, uniting them all for one cause, to save a home. Late into the night, laughter echoed through Sarah's thoughts as she wrapped up the final details. The intent pulsed with excitement, yet her heart still ached with the worry of Jake's reaction. What would he think when she told him? After all, he had imagined the perfect wedding, the beautiful moments they dreamed of together. Finally, gathering her courage, Sarah looked back at her buzzing phone and typed a quick message. "It's hard to explain right now, Jake. I'm helping someone in need and it's becoming something so beautiful. Can we talk later?" She hesitated for a moment, heart racing, and then hit send. Silence enveloped her. Hope and fear clashed as she turned back to Lily and the others. The flickering excitement in their eyes filled her with warmth, but beneath it all lingered the reality that her beloved wedding was slipping away. When the phone buzzed a final time, she felt a chill run down her spine. It was a reply from Jake, but she couldn't bring herself to look just yet. Instead, she focused on the faces around her, the warmth of their shared mission pouring over her like an embrace. Could she really persist in this newfound calling? The thought sparked doubt again, but the sense of purpose built within her, reinforced by the joy of community. As lights flickered on around the ranch and laughter filled the night, Sarah realized there was something more powerful than a singular dream. There was love overflowing within the hearts of many. What would Jake say when he heard her truth? And more importantly, would his heart align with hers in this pivotal moment? The faint glow of the fairy lights strung around the barn created a magical atmosphere, but inside, Sarah felt anything but enchanted. Her heart raced as she finally glanced at her phone, dread curling in her stomach. The notification was glowing ominously, a reminder of the weighty conversation that loomed ahead. When she opened Jake's message, her breath caught in her throat. "You're helping someone? What do you mean? Are you okay?" A wave of guilt washed over her. Was it wrong to pour her heart into this cause while her engagement to Jake teetered on the edge of chaos? She was supposed to be preparing for their future together, but here she was, knee-deep in plans for a barbecue that would pull together the very fabric of their community. "Sarah." Lily's bright voice broke through her thoughts. "Did you see this?" The young girl held up a colorful flyer. It outlined the event they planned for next weekend, a community barbecue to raise funds for a struggling family. The words "together we can" danced across the paper, echoing in Sarah's mind. I did," Sarah replied, forcing a smile. "Can you believe how excited everyone is?" Lily asked, eyes sparkling with anticipation. "I even heard Mr. Thompson is donating his famous ribs." Laughter rippled through the group as Sarah nodded, trying to immerse herself in their joy. It warmed her, but a knot still twisted in her stomach. "Yes. It's going to be amazing." But Jake's text nagged at her heart, relentless. What would happen when he realized this was stealing her attention when they should be planning their wedding? As the meeting wrapped up, Sarah felt a surge of gratitude for the work they were doing. The energy in the room energized her. With each plan made, the weight of her uncertainty felt a little lighter. "Sarah," Rebecca said, breaking into her reverie. "Could you help us with the decorations? The barn needs some sparkle." "Absolutely." Sarah agreed, making her way toward a pile of colorful streamers. Yet, as she decorated, her mind was a whirlpool of emotions. Every twist of the ribbon brought a reminder of Jake's expectations, and a whisper of doubt tuned her heart to a different frequency. Could she really do both? The urgency of immediate community needs felt so different from her wedding plans that seemed to be crumbling at the edges. Suddenly, a small hand gripped hers. Sarah looked down to see Lily, her blue eyes filled with earnest determination. "You're not going to leave, are you?" "Leave?" Sarah asked, her throat tightening. "I I don't just mean today." Lily's sincerity washed over Sarah like a warm sunbeam. "Like, leave this all behind, you belong here." The word struck Sarah deeply. In that light, the meaning behind them expanded. Her heart plummeted as she considered what leaving could mean, not just physically, but emotionally. Was she ready to fully let go of her old dreams? The truth began to settle in. This was more than just a diversion, it was a calling. "Hey, we'll be so busy preparing for the barbecue, everything will work out, right?" Rebecca chuckled, interrupting Sarah's thoughts. "Sure, I guess," Sarah mumbled, forcing herself to focus on the colorful streamers again. As the final moments of the night came and the laughter drifted into the distance, Sarah's phone buzzed another time, and her heart dropped. A new message from Jake lit up the screen. "I thought we were in this together. I need you, Sarah." Tears blurred her vision. She felt torn, the threads of two lives fraying. Could she keep her commitments to Jake while finding her purpose here? With doubt and determination battling within her, she stared at the screen as her phone buzzed once more, anger flaring in her chest. What would she choose? A life of tradition with Jake, or adventure fueled by community love? The echoes of the laughter lingered in her heart, but could they drown out the warning whispers of her mind? As she stood there, an overwhelming decision began to loom, pressing down on her like the weight of the world. What would she say to Jake tomorrow? And would her path lead her back to the ranch or towards the life they had planned? Sarah felt the last vestiges of joy from the laughter slipping away as she clutched her phone like a lifeline. The messages from Jake felt heavier than before, pressing down on her chest. She blinked through the tears that threatened to spill, each drop a reminder of how tangled her emotions had become. "Sarah? You okay?" Lily's small voice broke through the storm inside her. The concern in the girl's eyes pulled her out of her spiraling thoughts. "Yeah, I'm fine," Sarah said with a shaky smile. But the falter in her voice betrayed her. She could feel the weight of the world piling up around her. As she finished up the streamers, her fingers worked mechanically. The bright colors swirled around her, but they felt muted, like the muted laughter echoing far away. What was supposed to be a joyous occasion now felt miles out of reach. "Hey! Look who's here!" Rebecca called out, stepping aside to reveal Mr. Thompson, the town's beloved barbecue master, with a tray of his famous ribs in hand. He grinned broadly, the warmth from his presence spreading through the barn. "Can't wait to fire up the grill. Just need a few more hands to help with the prep," he said, his voice booming with excitement. The room lit up again, the worry lifting momentarily as everyone gathered around him, animated and chatting about the details. But Sarah lingered at the edge, anxiety anchoring her in place. How could she concentrate on the event when Jake's words echoed in her head? "What is it?" Lily's innocent voice nudged Sarah from her thoughts again. "You're not your usual self." Taking a deep breath, Sarah crouched beside the girl. "I'm just thinking about everything." "About the barbecue? Or about Jake?" A lump formed in Sarah's throat. "Both, I guess." "He needs you," Lily said, unflinching, yet her small hands clutched at her dress in uncertainty. "But you need us too, right?" The weight of Lily's words swept over Sarah in waves again, pulling at her heart. "I want to help here, but it feels like I'm letting him down." "Maybe it's not about letting people down. It's about finding where you really belong." Lily's bright eyes shone with wisdom that seemed years beyond her age. In that moment, Sarah's heart raced again, but this time, it was for a different reason. The connection created by the community felt pure and welcoming. Could she really embrace this new sense of belonging while still holding on to Jake? I feel like I'm stuck, Sarah admitted softly, her heart thumping in rhythm with her thoughts. I need to figure this out. A faint smile crept on Lily's lips, almost as if she understood the journey ahead. Maybe it's about carving your own path, Sarah. Suddenly, Sarah's thoughts turned to the barbecue, transforming from a mere event into an opportunity to not just bring the town together, but to find her own voice within it. She could help others as she figured out what she wanted. Maybe that was the purpose all along. As the meeting continued, Sarah stood firm, grounding herself in the vibrant chaos. The doubt faded slightly, replaced by a growing sense of clarity. But then her phone vibrated, an urgent message from Jake igniting the worry again. We can't keep avoiding this. What's it going to be? Panic shot through her. Would he see this as a betrayal? Or would he understand she needed to explore more than just the life they were building? Caught between two worlds, Sarah was left wrestling with her heart. As voices and laughter filled the barn, she realized tomorrow's chat with Jake could change everything. And just as the weight of uncertainty started to loosen, a fresh wave of questions washed over her. What would happen when she let her truth collide with loyalty? Would it bring them closer, or tear them apart? The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue through the barn windows, illuminating Sarah's heavy heart. With every laugh and chatter around her, she felt more disconnected, as if the world was moving forward while she stood still. A rush of noise filled her ears, but it was nothing more than a distant echo. She glanced at Lily playing with some friends, her small hands still busy tying up balloons. For a fleeting moment, Sarah felt the warmth of community envelop her. But then, memories of Jake's final message flashed through her mind like a storm brewing on the horizon. What's it going to be? The weight of that question hung heavy, a reminder that her choice was looming, inevitable and tense. Hey! You two are the dream team. Rebecca's voice chimed as she approached, her arms laden with supplies. We're almost ready to start. Are you with me, Sarah? A gentle reassurance surged within her. Yeah, let's do this. They moved through the barn, arranging tables and setting up chairs, each task a distraction. As Sarah tied a colorful ribbon to a chair, the barn suddenly filled with the mouth-watering scent of barbecue wafting in from outside. Conversations buzzed around her like bees, both sweet and overwhelming. Sarah! Someone called. It was Tommy, a boy from school. You're coming to sit with us later, right? She forced a smile, her heart wavering between guilt and longing. Of course. Wouldn't he miss it? But as he ran off to join the others, that familiar knot tightened in her stomach. Was she truly being genuine? Did she even want to sit there, laughing and eating, when Jake was waiting for her? Just then, Lily slipped closer, tugging at Sarah's sleeve. Are you okay? You've got that faraway look again. I know, I'm trying to be here. I'm thinking about tomorrow. Is it about the barbecue? You should have fun. Taking a breath, Sarah crouched down to match Lily's gaze. It's more about Jake and what I want for myself. The admission felt like letting out air from a balloon, light yet freeing. Doesn't he want you to be happy? Lily's tone was curious yet gentle, her eyes bright with innocence. Yes, but what if my happiness means not being with him? Lily's brow furrowed in concentration. Then you need to tell him. Maybe he needs to understand, like, really understand. Sarah chuckled softly, touched by the girl's simplicity. You might be right. I just wish it were easier. As Sarah straightened, a sudden cheer erupted from the crowd gathered outside, mingling with whispers of excitement. The realization struck her as she witnessed the community genuinely connect: laughter, joy, warmth. At that moment, she felt a spark of determination flicker within her, her heart raced with possibilities. Could she really share her feelings without fearing a fallout? A small voice inside pushed for courage. She owed herself that chance. The sun sank deeper, bathing the barn in a warm glow that felt encouraging. If she could embrace this community, perhaps she could embrace her own truth too. Suddenly, her phone vibrated again. Glancing down, her heart dropped as a new message from Jake appeared. If we can't talk about this, then how can we make it work? Sarah swallowed hard. She had to face him. Today would be about more than just festivities. Gathering her nerves, she took a deep breath, ready to find her voice. But just before she stepped toward the door, she hesitated as dread washed over her again. Was this really the moment? Tomorrow would not just change her relationship with Jake, it might shape everything else she had been too scared to confront. And as she stood at the threshold, her heart pounded in time with the tumult of emotions swirling within her. Was she really ready to take that leap? With one foot in each world, the stakes felt higher than ever. What would she decide? The festivities outside continued, laughter punctuating the air as children raced about and couples shared glances, reveling in the warmth of the moment. Sarah's heart thudded like a drum, each beat a reminder of the decision before her. Are you coming, or what? Rebecca's voice called from the barn entrance, a hint of impatience lacing the air. Sarah turned to see her friend, hands on her hips, smiling but serious. Just a second. Sarah replied, trying to mask the turmoil inside, taking one last look at Lily, who was busy threading balloons. Sarah couldn't help but smile at the innocent joy. It served as a reminder of what happiness could feel like. Maybe today wasn't just about exploring her relationship with Jake, it was also about embracing her own happiness. She stepped outside, where the soft light of the setting sun danced across the faces gathered around the picnic tables. The warmth enveloped her, but her mind raced. The invitation to talk loomed over her like a storm cloud. Would Jake be waiting near the vintage truck parked by the barn, the one they had decided to use for their picnic? Sarah's heart pounded harder as she scanned the crowd, half expecting to see him standing there, arms crossed, brow furrowed. Instead, she spotted her mom waving from a gathering of friends, and it filled her with both comfort and anxiety. This was her world, filled with love and laughter, yet there was an emptiness tied to Jake hovering like a ghost. Are you good? Rebecca appeared beside her, sensing Sarah's hesitation. Yeah, totally, just, soaking it in. Rebecca raised an eyebrow, unconvinced. Are you sure this isn't just a good way to avoid talking to Jake? A shiver of guilt washed over Sarah. Her friend's words felt like a gentle push towards the brink of confrontation. I'm not avoiding, are you happy? Rebecca interrupted, her gaze steady. The question echoed in Sarah's mind. Happy. It was a fragile word, one that felt out of reach. I don't know, honestly, she admitted, biting her lip. Then you know what you have to do. Whatever's holding you back is probably worse than talking about it. Sarah nodded, feeling a flicker of resolve ignite. She could do this. She had to. As laughter erupted again, her resolve wavered like the flickering light of the bonfire being built in the distance. How could she find Jake amidst all this chaos? Just then, she spotted him leaning against the truck, looking frustrated but hopeful. Her heart twisted painfully in her chest. She hesitated, taking a slow breath. What if she failed to find the right words? What if he didn't understand? Another wave of laughter pulled her attention for a moment. It sounded carefree and filled with light, but the warmth of that joy tightened her chest. Could she really step away from it all to face the one thing that scared her the most? With each step she took toward Jake, doubts began to swirl in her mind. But Lily's soft words bubbled back up, he needs to understand. Sarah's heart raced as she approached him, that sinking feeling in her gut resurfacing. Just as she opened her mouth to speak, a sudden shout from the crowd cut through piñata time. The chaos erupted as kids dashed towards the backyard, and Jake turned to look at her, those deep-set eyes searching hers. It was now or never. Jake, she started, but the noise around them swallowed her words, leaving them suspended in the charged air. Would she find the voice to share her truth? Would the moment slip away again, leaving them both caught in a swirl of unspoken thoughts? Just as she gathered her courage, the sound of breaking wood echoed in the distance, accompanied by exuberant shrieks of laughter. And in that split second, as chaos reigned around them, she wondered if this was the best moment or the worst. What was she truly ready to face? Sarah felt the energy buzzing in the air, a sea of laughter mixed with the splintering wood of the piñata as it broke open, candy spilling like a rainbow onto the grass. The chaos around her contrasted sharply with the turmoil bubbling inside. Time seemed to stretch, the moment feeling both urgent and suspended. Jake's eyes never left hers, a mixture of confusion and anticipation etched onto his face. The laughter of children filled the air, but all she could hear was the thudding of her heart, reminding her of the weight of the unspoken truth hanging between them. "Sarah," he said softly, just above the noise, as kids scrambled for treats. "What is it?" The warmth of the sun dipped, and shadows lengthened, accentuating the vulnerability in her gaze. I wanted to talk about us." The words felt like stones tumbling from her lips, each one heavier than the last. "Now? With all this going on?" He glanced back toward the swirling crowd, a hint of concern flickering behind his eyes. "I need to." The determination in her voice shocked even her. "Because I can't keep hiding." Jake stepped closer, the light catching the angles of his face, making him appear both softer and more intense. "Hiding? From what? From me? You know I care about you, don't you?" Instant regret washed over her. Those words were supposed to bridge the gap, yet they held an uncertainty that betrayed her real feelings. He nodded slowly, but skepticism clouded his expression. "Then what's this really about?" "It's complicated," she murmured. The laughter of the kids faded into the background as the gravity of the moment sunk in, pulling her down like a weight. "It's about clarity about what I want." As he waited, she could see the wall he had built in response to the distance growing between them. It was a protective barrier, shaped by past hurts, and now it was as if they both stood on opposite sides. "Tell me, Sarah," he urged gently, his voice a low tremor amidst the gathering chorus of joy. "Because I can't keep guessing." In that moment, everything she had held back clamored for escape. The laughter of the party fell silent in her mind as she tried to find her truth. "I'm scared, Jake. Scared of ruining what we have, scared that I'm not what you need." "Then what do you need?" The question hung there, heavy. Sarah's thoughts swirled like the candy spilling from the piñata, colorful but chaotic. "I need to know if we're on the same page, if we want the same future." Jake's brow creased. "And if we don't?" For a heartbeat, the world outside faded away. She felt like she was teetering on the edge of an abyss. "Then we need to figure that out together." Suddenly, she was aware of a small tug on her dress. Glancing down, she saw Lily with a handful of candy, her wide eyes filled with innocence. "Are you okay, Miss Sarah?" she asked, her lisped words cutting through the tension. Lost in the moment, Sarah knelt down and smiled at the little girl, finding unexpected comfort in that pure gaze. "Yes, sweet girl, I'm okay, just talking about important things." Lily nodded, biting into a piece of candy with a bright smile. "Important things are good. They help make you happy." The child's cheerful conviction sparked a flicker of hope in Sarah's heart. Maybe that was what she needed, a little clarity, a simple truth amidst the chaos. But as she looked back at Jake, now apprehensive but still waiting for her answer, she wondered if that childlike trust could truly bridge the gap between them. "What if happiness means we have to take a leap?" She whispered aloud, half to Lily and half to Jake, as her mind raced ahead with possibilities. Jake's expression softened, but a question lingered. "And what if we jump into the unknown?" What lay before her felt both thrilling and terrifying, and in that moment, she realized she would need every ounce of courage to find the answer. The crowds and laughter faded again, leaving her with one overwhelming thought: what if facing the truth led to freedom, or would it break her heart entirely? As the evening stretched into the horizon, with darkness but a whisper away, Sarah wondered if this leap would lead to clarity or heartbreak. The answer was teetering on the edge of her lips, waiting to be spoken. Can you wait a bit longer?" she finally asked, her voice trembling with uncertainty, unsure if she was ready to jump yet. And as the first stars began to twinkle, a new resolve washed over her. Would she find that strength, or would uncertainty keep her from embracing her truth? The heaviness of her decision loomed over them both, making her wish for the safety of the past while yearning for the daring leap into an unknown future. The sun dipped lower, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, but inside Sarah's heart, shadows loomed. She faced Jake, her chest tightening with each pause in the conversation. The children around them laughed, and yet, in that moment, all she could feel was the distance that drew thick and taut between her and Jake. "Just a bit," she whispered, her eyes darting away. Could she really take him on that journey toward understanding? Her values clashed within her. Knowing your heart is one thing, expressing it was a whole other battle. Jake sighed, his brow furrowed deeper now. "I don't want to pressure you, but the waiting it's hard," he replied, his voice a mix of frustration and concern. He shifted his weight, leaning in just enough to signal he wanted to take that leap, too. "I feel like we're stuck in this limbo, Sarah. We can't move forward if we don't know our true feelings." She nodded slowly, contemplating. The words felt like they were swirling in her mind, echoing with the laughter that surrounded them. "But what if we start moving forward and end up falling?" Jake reached for her hand, his fingers brushing against hers, sending a spark of courage coursing through her veins. "Falling can lead to something beautiful, Sarah. Don't you believe that?" His words wrapped around her, making her heart race. A part of her wanted to lean into that belief, to trust in both him and the potential of what they could be. But the hesitation lingered, making her question her own capacity to embrace that leap of faith. A soft voice interrupted her thoughts. "Miss Sarah, can I have some more candy?" Lily's innocent question broke through the weight of the moment, grounding Sarah in simplicity. The little girl hopped excitedly on the tips of her toes, her small hands grasping at the air like tiny birds wanting to fly. "Of course, Lily," Sarah replied, kneeling down again, grateful for the distraction. She rifled through the treats at her feet, sorting through the chaos, each candy piece glistening in the fading light. "Here you go." She beamed, handing her a handful. "Thank you." Lily squealed, her delight lighting up the evening. The moment reminded Sarah about the joy in being present, the laughter reminding her how to embrace the little things in life. As she rose, she caught Jake's gaze again. There was admiration in his eyes, but also a lingering fragility. He was still waiting for her to decide whether to take the leap. It felt like they were in a moment apart from everything else, with the laughter and chaos fading into the background. What if I embraced the unknown?" She spoke softly, more to herself than to him. The idea felt terrifying but also freeing at once. Could trusting in something greater than fear lead her to happiness? Jake's eyes widened slightly, as if she sparked a flicker of hope in him. "You don't have to have all the answers now, Sarah," he said. "Just tell me what you feel, even if it's messy." His words struck a chord deep within her. She glanced back at the children, their laughter swirling like vibrant energy, and realized that sometimes the uncertainty made the path forward brighter. "Jake, this is difficult for me." She stumbled over her own emotions, scouring for the right words. "I've never been so scared in my life, but I also don't want to lose you." A heartbeat passed between them, echoing with a sense of urgency. "Then let us figure it out together," he offered, sincerity flooding his tone. Sarah's heart raced at the prospect. The trust he extended was a lifeline. What if they could weave their dreams together in sweet harmony? In that moment, she felt a surge of courage brimming within her. It was time to stop holding back. "Jake, I want to explore this whatever it is we have, but you must promise me we'll talk and be honest no matter how messy it gets." He smiled slowly, relief washing over his features, and the softness of his eyes melted away her fear. "I promise." Yet, as the comforting shadow of the day turned into night, a small voice nagged in the back of Sarah's mind, filled with doubt. What if their honesty laid bare a truth she wasn't ready to face? As they stood there, the stars twinkling above them, uncertainty whispered anew. Could this be the moment that transformed their connection forever, or would they find themselves lost in the dark? "Perhaps the leap isn't the end," she murmured quietly, glancing back at Jake, whose expression mirrored her doubts. "Maybe it's only the beginning." With her heart still racing, a knot of anticipation twisted deep inside her as she wondered if facing the truth would truly lead to the joy she yearned for or mark the beginning of the end. What awaited them was uncertain, yet the possibility shimmered like those stars above. Was she truly ready for the leap? As the first light of dawn broke over the Texas horizon, Sarah felt the weight of her decision settling within her. The community barbecue was today, and the excitement in the air crackled with a vibrant energy. But her heart felt heavy, caught between the joys of the day and the unresolved tensions of her life with Jake. She stood at the edge of the barn, the world around her alive with noise, children laughing, adults chatting, the scent of barbecue wafting through the air. But all that buzz faded into a backdrop to her thoughts. She couldn't shake the feeling of being at a crossroads. Today's event held the promise of community and connection, yet it also loomed large with the unresolved questions she needed to face with Jake. Lily's hopeful laughter echoed nearby, pulling Sarah out of her thoughts. The little girl raced around with a few friends, giggling as they played. That happiness reminded Sarah of the light within her, the joy she had found in helping Lily's family. It reignited her resolve, weaving through the uncertainty. The sun shone brightly, illuminating her path forward. With newfound determination, she stepped back into the fray of the celebration. Everywhere she looked, people were working together, their faces radiant with warmth and purpose. This mission had turned into much more than a fundraiser. It was a tapestry of love binding them all together. As she helped set up the tables adorned with brightly colored cloths, Sarah felt a familiar presence behind her. She turned to see Jake standing there, his expression unreadable. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice steady but tinged with urgency. Taking a deep breath, Sarah nodded, leading him toward a quieter area behind the barn, away from the joyous chaos. "I'm glad you came," she began, feeling the tension seep from her words. "I've been thinking a lot about us, about how happy this day makes me but also how uncertain I feel about everything else." Jake's gaze softened, and he stepped closer. "I know it's been hard. I've felt it too," he admitted, his sincerity warming the space between them. "I want to understand. I don't want to lose you, Sarah." In that moment, she felt the weight of her fears lifting slightly. "I want to explore this, whatever it is we have, and I want us to be honest about our feelings. I think that's the only way forward." He nodded slowly, his eyes focused on hers, searching for the truth. "But what if that honesty reveals things we aren't ready to face?" he asked, the vulnerability in his voice resonating deeply within her. "Then we face them together," Sarah replied, her resolve solidifying. "I refuse to live a life of silence, of misguided choices because I'm scared." Suddenly, the doubts that had been haunting her started to fade like mist in the morning sun. "This community shows me what love and support can be," she continued. "It's made me realize I want an authentic life, one filled with connection not just for the sake of tradition, but for the possibility of something even greater." Jake's face broke into a gentle smile, the kind that made her heart race. "I've always wanted to be a part of your dreams, Sarah. And I want you to be a part of mine, too," he said, the conviction in his tone illuminating a path forward. At that moment, the chaos of the day faded into the background. Sarah took a step closer, feeling as if they were the only two people in the world. "Then let us make a pact. We promise to communicate, no matter how difficult it feels. We'll embrace each other's journeys. Deal, Jake replied, his voice steady. The warmth of their connection swirled around them as the distant laughter echoed through the air. With every moment of honesty, every word of vulnerability they shared, the weight of uncertainty dissipated, replaced by clarity and purpose. Together, they found the courage to leap into the unknown. As they turned back toward the gathering, Sarah felt a rush of hope fill her heart. She was ready to embrace the joy of the barbecue, to celebrate with her community and with Jake by her side. The barbecue blossomed into a celebration of love, unity, and new beginnings. The community came together, raising funds, sharing stories, and laughing like never before. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the evening sky turned shades of pink and purple, mirroring the collective joy enveloping them all, and in that moment, Sarah knew she would never have to choose between love and community. She had found her voice, and together with Jake, they would forge a life filled with both, one heart at a time. If you found this story touching and want to hear more like it, you need to subscribe now to catch the next exclusive adventures. Leave a like to help the algorithm shine as bright as this beautiful message. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this ending. I want to hear from you. And wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel this kind of transformation. Your support means the world and helps spread the love of this community.